What if the very heart of American democracy, the White House, harbored secrets far older than its political machinations? Beyond the Oval Office and diplomatic dinners, whispers of the past echo through its hallowed halls. This isn't just a seat of power, it's a stage for history's most enduring specters. Our journey into the spectral begins in the most famous chamber, the Lincoln bedroom. Originally Abraham Lincoln's office, where he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, this room is a nexus of profound historical energy. It is here that the 16th president, a man burdened by war, seems to linger still. The most chilling encounters often involve Lincoln himself. Winston Churchill, the formidable British Prime Minister, famously refused to sleep here after a terrifying incident. Imagine, Churchill, fresh from a bath, encountered Lincoln standing by the fireplace, a silent, imposing figure. Churchill, with his characteristic wit, reportedly quipped, "Good evening, Mr. President. You seem to have me at a disadvantage." Lincoln merely smiled before dissolving into the shadows. This spectral meeting left an indelible mark on the wartime leader. Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands experienced an even more dramatic visitation. She answered a knock at the bedroom door, only to find Lincoln's towering figure, complete with his iconic stovepipe hat, standing before her. The shock was so profound she fainted on the spot. Eleanor Roosevelt, though never seeing him, felt Lincoln's presence intensely. She described an overwhelming sense of being watched, a profound sadness emanating from the room. It was as if the weight of his presidency still permeated the very air. What truly sends shivers down the spine is the consistency of these accounts. Across decades, multiple witnesses described the exact same scene: Lincoln by the window, hands clasped behind his back. He gazes out, forever contemplating the nation he fought so desperately to preserve. Moving beyond the presidential residence, we find another protective spirit in the famed Rose Garden. In 1913, President Woodrow Wilson's wife, Edith, sought to redesign this historic space. Her plans involved completely digging up the existing flora. But the gardeners soon encountered an unexpected obstacle. As they began removing the roses, a spectral woman in early 19th century attire materialized among the flowers. She gestured angrily, shouting at them to cease their work. The apparition was so vivid, and the workers so terrified, that they immediately halted their efforts. When staff described the mysterious woman, her appearance perfectly matched that of Dolly Madison, the beloved former First Lady. Work on the garden was promptly abandoned, and to this day, the roses remain largely as Dolly originally designed them over 2 centuries ago. Some whisper that her spirit still tends to the garden on moonlit nights, a timeless guardian of her cherished legacy. What lends unparalleled credibility to these White House hauntings is that sitting presidents themselves have reported encounters. These aren't mere staff anecdotes, they are testimonies from the most powerful individuals on earth, often shared with a quiet conviction. Harry Truman was remarkably open about his experiences. He wrote letters to his wife Bess, detailing phantom footsteps in the hallway, always at the same hour. He famously declared the old house was haunted sure as shootin', yet seemed more intrigued than frightened. The Reagan years brought numerous reports. Both Ronald and Nancy Reagan acknowledged feeling distinct presences throughout the residence, especially in the Lincoln bedroom. Nancy, particularly sensitive to the paranormal, even consulted astrologers. She publicly stated her belief that Lincoln's spirit watched over every president. It was as if he offered silent guidance during the nation's most challenging decisions, a spectral advisor from beyond the veil. George H.W. Bush reported strange sounds, unexplained cold spots, and the unsettling sensation of being watched. These occurrences often happened during quiet moments in the historic Oval Office, a place of immense solitude and decision. Even Barack Obama, known for his logical demeanor, seemed genuinely unsettled by certain areas. While he publicly joked about Lincoln's ghost, staff noted his avoidance of the Lincoln bedroom. He would sometimes pause mid-sentence, as if listening to something others could not perceive. Beneath the White House's stately grandeur lies a more sinister paranormal presence. During the massive renovations in the 1940s, under President Truman, workers reported deeply disturbing encounters in the basement areas. These were not the benevolent spirits of former residents. Construction crews described hearing multiple voices engaged in conversations within empty rooms. Shadowy figures moved through solid walls, and sudden temperature drops of 20 to 30 degrees would chill them to the bone. Some workers refused to enter certain areas alone. They claimed an overwhelming sense of dread and despair permeated these subterranean spaces. Historians theorize these spirits may date back to the War of 1812, when British forces burned the White House. The original building's foundation stones witnessed immense trauma. Some believe the emotional energy from that devastating fire trapped souls in the lower levels, forever bound to the site of their demise. Even today, Secret Service agents reportedly avoid certain basement corridors during night shifts. They describe an oppressive atmosphere that makes them feel physically ill. The White House hosts an entire roster of ghostly residents, each with their own haunting patterns, adding to its rich tapestry of spectral history. Andrew Jackson, the 7th president, is surprisingly one of the more pleasant spirits. Staff report hearing his distinctive laughter echoing through his former bedroom, now the Queen's bedroom. Unlike other ghosts, Jackson seems to enjoy the ongoing political drama, as if watching his favorite show. Abigail Adams, America's second First Lady, can be spotted in the East Room, eternally hanging laundry. During the White House's early days, this was where she dried clothes. Her spirit continues this domestic routine, a timeless echo of her daily life. Staff have reported seeing wet laundry appearing and disappearing, and the faint scent of soap and starch in empty rooms. William Henry Harrison, the president who died after just 31 days in office, is reportedly seen in the White House attic. He seems to be searching for something he never had time to find in life. Perhaps the most ominous White House spirit is the demon cat. This massive, spectral black cat reportedly appears before national tragedies. Secret Service agents in the 1890s first reported this creature, describing it as growing from normal cat size to enormous as it approaches. Sightings were reported before both World Wars, the Kennedy assassination, and 9/11, chilling harbingers of doom. David Burns, the original landowner whose property became the White House, reportedly still claims ownership. Staff hear a voice calling out on Mr. Burns. In the Yellow Oval Room. This is always followed by the distinct sound of footsteps pacing back and forth, a spectral landlord asserting his ancient claim. The supernatural activity hasn't diminished with time, it continues to manifest in the digital age. Current White House staff regularly report unexplained phenomena, proving the past is very much alive within these walls. Technological anomalies are common. Elevators frequently stop at floors where no one pressed buttons, seemingly guided by unseen hands. Security cameras sometimes capture shadowy figures moving through restricted areas, only for the spaces to be empty upon investigation. Physical manifestations are also reported. Doors throughout the residence open and close on their own, particularly in the family quarters. Staff have even found furniture moved overnight in rooms that were locked and secured, defying logical explanation. Temperature anomalies persist, with certain rooms experiencing sudden, dramatic drops with no explanation from HVAC systems. The Lincoln bedroom consistently measures 10 to 15 degrees colder than surrounding rooms, a perpetual chill. Sensory experiences are perhaps the most unsettling. Multiple staff members describe feeling watched while alone, hearing whispered conversations in empty hallways. They catch glimpses of figures in their peripheral vision that vanish when they turn to look directly. Recent presidents have been more private about their experiences, perhaps wary of public perception. However, staff members continue to share stories quietly, creating an unspoken understanding that the White House is home to more than just the living. So, what truly explains America's most haunted house? Skeptics point to the building's age, settling wood, and changing temperatures. They also cite the immense psychological pressure of living in such a historically significant place, suggesting the power of suggestion. But here's what cannot be easily dismissed. These encounters span over 200 years, involving credible witnesses including world leaders and presidents. They follow consistent patterns, often including details witnesses couldn't have known beforehand. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, the sheer volume and consistency of these reports are remarkable. Perhaps the White House, having witnessed so much American history, triumphs, tragedies, births, deaths, and world-changing decisions, has absorbed the emotional energy of centuries. It has created a space where the past refuses to stay buried, where the echoes of history are not just metaphorical, but tangible. America's most famous address is undeniably its most haunted. Here, the spirits of former leaders may still be serving their country from beyond the grave, their presence a constant reminder of the nation's complex past. Whether these encounters represent genuine paranormal activity, residual emotional energy, or the collective imagination of a nation, one thing remains certain: the White House holds mysteries that extend far beyond politics and policy. The next time you see the president addressing the nation from the Oval Office, remember, they might not be the only one in the room influencing the decision. What do you think? Are these genuine encounters with America's ghostly presidents, or can science explain it all away? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. If this journey into the spectral history of the White House gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe for more mysterious content exploring the hidden secrets of famous places.